Hello, everybody. Good morning. Trying to get everybody in here. Hello, hello.
Happy Valentine's.
Happy National Singles Awareness Day.
There you go.
Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi. So it is officially Valentine's Day, aka National Singles Awareness Day. And Patty is officially rocking her beach hair today. I'm doing beach hair because it's a lazy day for me, kind of. So I've got my beach hair going on. Lots of people still joining us. We're going to answer whatever questions and whatever people want to talk about. I'm just letting everybody in. So who's on first? What's on second? Let's talk today about whatever troubles you. Anybody have anything?
Good morning, Patty. This is Suri.
Hi.
Hi. I have an issue. Original lease was with two adults and one minor under 18. In 2020, another adult moved in, so I gave them a 30-day notice to raise the rent, and then COVID happened. So that was put on hold. In 2022, the under 18 left, and now I'm raising rent 4%, plus passing on the approved seismic retrofit. Can I raise also the 100?
No, you need to get the retrofitting approved through the
Oh,
city.
it's approved. It's approved. It's been approved for a long time.
And now you want to go back and charge for the unauthorized occupant?
Well, I'm thinking maybe I should tell them that, look, no, I served that. I served that. The notice was served, but I was told to hold it because it's emergency. So you can't raise the rent. I just thought that maybe somewhere we discussed that you can say that the rent is 100. So when they move out, it's gonna be higher, even if they don't pay the $100.
You don't have vacancy decontrol right now, so that's not an issue.
Oh, okay, at this point. Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Okay.
I get what you're trying to explain to me, and what you're speaking of has to do with vacancy decontrol. And currently, California does not have any vacancy decontrol in any city or county within the state.
All right.
For anybody that wants to know what vacancy decontrol is, vacancy decontrol means when your property goes vacant, you can only increase the rent by whatever your rent increase was. Example, she happens to be in the city of Los Angeles. She has a maximum of a 4% rent increase right now. So what vacancy decontrol says is if your rent's $1,000 and your tenant moves out, you can't bring it to market value. You can only increase it by 4%. That's what vacancy decontrol is. We don't have that in California, so it's not something we need to worry about keeping our rents high for when they move out or if they leave. We can just start at market value. Got it? No vacancy decontrol. It's currently sitting in legislation. They're trying to pass it, but at this point, as of today, I should rephrase myself. As of right this second, there is no vacancy decontrol in Southern California. Okay? There is talk of adding vacancy decontrol. It will severely hinder us as landlords. So I hope it doesn't pass. It would be a little bit of a nightmare, but I already have the answer for vacancy decontrol. I hate to say it, but I do. Family member move in. Sorry, I'm trying. If it's already vacant, if a family member moves in, you're not paying any relocation fees, right? Okay, sorry. Squirrel.
That's for 12 months, right? The family.
I'm sorry.
The family can move in for 12 months.
They have to live there for at least 12 months. Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
No problem. Does anybody else have anything? What do we want to talk about today?
I have a quick question.
Sure.
It's about the habitability issue for someone who doesn't have heater for the bathroom. Heater, is it habitability issue if it's not working?
Let me ask you a question. Is there a wall heater in the bathroom wall?
It's on the ceiling. Ceiling,
Okay. So it's a heater that heats the bathroom from like a light fixture or something like that?
exactly. Yes, it is.
Is it those heat lamp light bulbs?
No, it's an element. It's an
It's an element.
element. I believe, yeah, what you are talking, yes, it's correct. Yeah.
Because I have that in a bathroom in one of my houses where they're heating light bulbs and you just flip the switch and the light bulbs come on, but they're putting out heat, not just light. And I
No,
mean, it's
it's not
hot.
light. It's not bulb. It's an element. It's an element that
Okay.
yeah.
So I have another question. Is there other heating in the house?
Yes, it is.
So it's not the only source of heat?
Yes.
So it's an inconvenience?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
There's heat throughout the house, just not in the bathroom?
No, it's not. It's AC from the, you know,
But there's heat in other rooms of the house. The only heater isn't in the bathroom, correct?
yes, correct.
Okay. So how long has it been broken?
2, 3 days.
Get it fixed. It's not a habitability issue because it is not the source of heat for the house.
Oh, okay.
Understand? What it
Yes,
is it's there for when you get out of the shower, you can flip the switch and get out and you're not
exactly.
freezing. We see a
Right.
lot of these on the East Coast or in areas that have heavy snow, just
Okay.
because it's freaking cold when you get out of the shower. So that's why they install those. If that's not the only source of heat in the house, so it's not what's providing house heat to the housing, it is just as an amenity to warm up the bathroom while you're taking a shower. Okay.
Exactly.
So
Yes.
that's not the heat source for the house. It's an amenity. You should fix it within 30 days, but it's not a reason to withhold rent. I would possibly give them a credit for their inconvenience, but this is, although a heater, it is not the main heat source for the house. This is an amenity to have a heated shower, so to
Yeah.
speak, or a heated bathroom after a shower.
Thank
I
you.
shouldn't just say a shower because God only knows why you'd want to heat up a bathroom. It might not be for a shower, but whatever it is.
Thank you.
No problem. Anybody else? And yes, Patty's getting hot. It's time to take a sweater off. And I'm stuck in it. Oh my gosh. I got my sweater off. We'll see if I have to take off anything else. The shoes might be coming off next. All right. Anybody have anything else they want to talk about?
Pat, I have a question of whether if there's a habitability issue, is it mandatory to give a rent credit? Because when I was reading about it, it looked like it was if it was over 30 days that was required.
Okay, let's talk about it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Habitability issue. No hot water. Habitability issue?
Yes.
Okay, no rent owed till it's corrected. Dishwasher breaks. Habitability issue?
No.
What is it?
Inconvenience.
And
And
after
you have
30
30
days,
days, it
it
becomes a habitability,
becomes a habitability issue.
Right. Right.
So it's a courtesy until, so just so you guys know what Arlene and I are talking about, because as soon as I said it, she answered her own question. So
Right. But what I have a question is like, okay, so you get a call on you get a text on Sunday morning that the heat
okay,
is not working.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
So You put in a request to get somebody out there. They
Uh-huh.
say there's nobody
Monday is
available.
first business day.
Okay. You call the gas company to come out
Mhm.
to see if they can do something. They come out on Sunday.
Okay.
They say it's an electrical issue that you need HVAC. They can't do it.
Gotcha.
Monday, the HVAC person says they can't come till Wednesday.
Okay.
And so I find somebody else who comes out on Monday and fixes it.
Okay.
So do I have to give them any rent credit?
No, you don't. Do you want
Okay.
me to explain to you why?
Yes, please.
You got it first fixed in the first business day.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know, if on the weekends, if it's a business day or it's just because it always seems to happen on a Friday,
It always happens on a Friday of a 3-day holiday weekend. Welcome to property management. Okay.
Okay.
So first business day. And what
Okay.
I always tell the client, and it could be argued because there's nothing in the law that says business day versus non-business day. But look at it this way, okay? If it's an emergency, you're going to get somebody out there now, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So let them know, oh, I had it fixed first business day. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. We'll notify a workman and have someone contact you once it's during business hours.
Okay.
Okay. So then I tell them, oh, we had it fixed within the first business day, so no rent credit will be issued. If they push back and they fight with you or create a ruckus, give them the credit. It's not worth the argument.
No, they were grateful. There was never any discussion of rent credit or anything.
Right.
I was just curious to know,
But I'm giving you a
that's, yeah.
tool. I'm
No, I
giving you a
appreciate
tool,
it.
okay?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in the event it's fixed on the first business day, then, oh, thank you. We got that all fixed in the first business day. I'm glad we got that corrected for you. Enjoy your month. I didn't talk about a rent credit at all. If they then tell me, what about a credit on my rent? I had it fixed on the first business day.
Gotcha. Okay,
And
good.
that's all I say.
Okay.
I didn't say I wasn't giving it. I didn't give them any info. I'm putting it out there to see what kind of response I get. Because all I did was make a statement. I had it fixed in the first business day. And then you're waiting for them to respond to you, right? Look at it this way. If they called you on Monday morning and you had it fixed Monday afternoon, what are you going to credit them? Hours of rent? No. It doesn't work that way. Okay.
Okay, good.
So I always just use a play on words. First, I had it fixed during business hours on the first day.
Okay, great.
How do they argue with that? So leave yourself an open window, but try is what I'm saying. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Anytime. And remember, you guys, let's get into detail for those of them that were listening and they still have no idea what Arlene and I are talking about. And sometimes we banter back and forth. So forgive us, you guys. I do the same thing with Hilda when she's on here. I think she's on here today. What we're saying is if it's not a habitability issue, you still have to fix it. Okay. Example, dishwasher, not a habitability issue because we can wash dishes by hand. Okay. It's an amenity, not a habitability issue. Some people may think it's a habitability issue, but it's an amenity. So with amenities, if they're not fixed within 30 days, then it becomes a habitability issue. And on day 31, you need to give them a rent credit for that not being fixed. After 30 days, it becomes a habitability issue. And can I say this to you guys out loud as I can? And I'm going to scream it from the rooftops. The very first time I did a speaking engagement on my own, all by myself, one of the attorneys that I'm friends with sat in the back, in the very, very back. And he didn't let anybody know he was there. He didn't let anybody know he was an attorney. There was probably a good 100 people in the audience. And I said, when it comes to habitability issues, I want you to remember one thing. Fix it yesterday. Don't wait for tomorrow. When that came out of my mouth, the attorney was in the back of the room, fist bumping, yeah, because he was so happy with that information and how I expressed it. When it comes to habitability issues, fix it yesterday. Don't wait till tomorrow. Got it? Because they don't owe you the rent. And if that isn't driving you to fix it faster, we need to have a whole different conversation. Okay. All right, you guys, what else you got?
I do have a question. I
Sure.
served I served 30-day notice for RSO and skip, passed over to the tenants, and I always serve them in English, and the contract is in English. And the son of this woman that she is not able to speak in English texted me, why you guys always doing this? You need to serve this notice in Spanish.
So
What's
now he's requested that you change dialect.
yeah, can we how we can do it? Because when
Hold
I'm
on. Hold on.
Thank
Is
you.
the son on the contract?
Yes.
Oh, shit. Okay, so now they have made a request to you to start serving your documents in another language.
Yeah, I answered that your contract is in English. So that's based on that, we are creating our communication letters in English. If you want, we will consider your request. And he answered me horrible answer.
Okay, tell me the horrible answer. It's
No,
okay, I promise. You don't want to repeat it?
he answered me horrible answer.
That's what
Reply.
he said? It's a
Yes.
horrible answer?
Yeah, because I told them, hey, your contract is in English and we are creating communication based on that one. So if you want,
And now he has requested that you change dialect. So you must change
oh,
dialect.
okay. So how can I trust that the Google Translator is doing the way that I request them to
No,
translate? Oh,
no. What apartment association do you belong to?
VOA.
They have documents also written in Spanish.
Oh, in Spanish. Okay.
You're going to use that document, not something you Google Translate because it doesn't Google
Yeah.
Translate legal terms.
Yes. Thank you for assisting. Yeah.
No problem. So California Apartment Association, even AGLA, a bunch of the apartment associations are now coming up with dialect notices in other languages.
Mhm.
Okay?
Thank you.
No problem. But double check with them. You want to do everything. And now I don't do it just in their language of choice. I do it in both languages. That way I know what it says.
Yeah, yeah. I prefer have both at the same letter.
I
So he is
completely
not
understand, but it's
living.
twice as much work for you.
There is only an old lady is living there, but he has now two adult, something like 40 years or older boys that they are not living there. They are just coming over there to visit their mom. So
Okay.
but their name are in the lease agreement that is for belong for years ago. So
I understand.
they count as tenants, right?
Correct.
Thank you.
No problem. And David's given us a translator there at the bottom of the screen. So if you guys need a translator. Hi, sisters. I will find out tomorrow. Tomorrow's the 15th. Tomorrow's my meeting. So if you're listening and you hear me tomorrow, I use this service for language conversion of documents included. Okay, so there's actually a service out there that does that. Makes sense? I mean, it makes it rather
Thank you.
tricky. You got it, sister. Tomorrow. It makes it kind of tricky when you're talking about translating documents because it can get lost in translation. Make sense? Makes sense. And let's face it, courts are heard in the English language. If you need a Cantonese interpreter or something along those lines, we have to schedule that in advance, make sure they're at the court. It can be quite challenging as far as your proceedings. So anytime there's a language barrier or a different language involved, it becomes a little bit more challenging for the property manager or the landlord that's in possession of that. If you start in a language, you have to stay in that language. So unless they request to have the language changed, it isn't something you want to volunteer. Remember one thing, trials are conducted in English, not in any other language. Okay. And that's me trying to be helpful. I speak this much Spanish. Okay. Because I got the food, no problem. I got the liquor, no problem. Where's the bathroom? And my favorite, la renta. Where's my rent? La renta. So that's about the expertise of my Spanish. So I wouldn't want to try to figure out what a notice said or didn't say, or what a lease said or didn't say. But once they request to have the dialect changed, you're required to. Think of it this way. They're telling you, yeah, we signed everything, but now your service is serving us notices, and I only read sarcasm. I can't understand what this notice says. So if I'm supposed to do something, you didn't serve it in my language, now you can't hold it against them. They told you to change the dialect. So it's very important that we change dialect when requested. But I always then do the notices in both languages. It helps, trust me. They get 2 3-day notices, one in Spanish and one in English, or whatever their dialect is. I didn't mean to single out Spanish. I apologize. I usually use Cantonese for my reference because it's not very common. You can see how it would be an issue to find someone else that spoke Cantonese, have them come to the courthouse, and then an interpreter has to interpret everything that's being said by the judge, by the tenant, by the tenant's attorney, by the, yeah, so it gets quite challenging for those of them that do translation. All right, next question.
So, Patty, based on those conversations that we had, now, if I want to serve them some stuff that they already have in their website, it's good to go. But for some letters that they are specific about some stuff that I want to mention about that letters, I'm not talking about notices. What can I do?
What city is your property in?
RSO, Los Angeles.
You're not to send your tenant any letters anymore.
Oh,
You want
okay.
me to explain something to everybody listening today?
Oh,
Pay
okay.
attention, okay?
Thank you.
There is something new in LA City and LA County called tenant harassment. I'm sure you've heard it, where the landlord can harass the tenant, right? You guys have heard about that, right? Harassment. What's considered harassment? Every time you pick up the phone and call the tenant and ask them where their rent payment is? Most likely. Stop doing that. Every time you text them? Most likely. Every time you write them a courtesy letter about what's going on, are you harassing them? Most likely. Serve the notice that the court recognizes to communicate with them.
Patty, how can I do that? Because 2 days ago I was in emergency and we could stop water and it was not arranged. So I need to text them, hey guys, we are gonna stop the water because we have emergency. How we can tell them this stuff?
You can let them know that the water's going to be shut off today for a repair. That's completely acceptable. Okay? That's completely acceptable. But what I'm talking about is other things. Maybe you want to talk to them about their kids walking through the common area, bouncing their basketball. Okay? And ask them not to do that because it disrupts other neighbors. That's where it becomes harassment. Stop telling them how to live. Use your notice. It would be a curable breach of covenant because the noise they're making is affecting the right to quiet enjoyment for neighboring residents. Stop using your mouth to get you in trouble. This isn't a joke when it comes to harassment. It's very easily defined. If you are serving a court-recognized document, whether it be a 3-day pay rent or quit, a 3-day curable breach of covenant, or some kind of disclosure, then you are doing your job. If you're calling the tenant, you could be harassing them. If you're texting the tenant, you could be harassing them. Stop setting yourself up to this exposure. It used to be, and I got some property managers in here right now, and they'll tell me, oh, yep, that's how we used to do it, Patty. We used to send something called a courtesy notice. Okay. So back in the day, we used to tell them, I'm sorry, it appears that you have unauthorized occupants in your property. And if you don't do something to get rid of these unauthorized occupants, that is going to cause us to serve a notice. And we would send this to them as a warning letter or a courtesy. That is now considered a threat. Look at it this way. Hey, get those illegal occupants out of your property or I'm going to evict you. That's a threat. And you just put it in writing. Stop trying to be nice. They're using it against us. Okay? Hate to tell you this, but they are using it against us most definitely. So what do we want to do? We want to just serve the notice. But Patty, that's so rude. No, it's us doing our job. I'm sorry. I'm going to do my job. I have to do my job. Serve the notice. Stop trying to be nice. Okay? They're using it against us when we're trying to be polite and trying to be nice. And a lot of the problem is when we're sending that courtesy, we're using absolute terms. If you don't do this, I'm going to serve you a notice. That's a threat. And you just put it in writing. No absolute terms, okay? No warning letters, okay? No courtesy notices. Just do your job and serve the notice, okay? Puts you in a better position. Anybody else?
Even in 1482, in subject of 1482, doesn't matter, just LA City. You're mentioning LA City, right?
Right, but you're talking about 1482. 1482 covers the entire state of California.
Yeah, so.
But LA County is what really talks about landlord harassment, tenant harassment. That's where the harassment issues seem to be blossoming, if you will.
I talked about Los Angeles City and RSO. Now I am adding even Los Angeles City and 1482. That's correct for both, right?
I don't send letters to any of my tenants in Riverside County or San Bernardino County. I serve them a notice.
Okay. Awesome.
We used to do it to be nice to them and warn them, hey, if you don't do this, it's going to cause me to serve a notice. What they're saying now is that courtesy letter that we give them saying, hey, if you don't comply, I'm going to have to serve you a notice. They're saying that's harassment. But if you serve the notice, you're just doing your job. So stop trying to be nice and just do your job. Serve the notice. If there's a violation, serve the notice. Okay? By us trying to be nice about it, it's hurting us, not helping us. I hope that makes sense. Anybody have anything else? I heard a throat clear. Do we have to serve SB 567 to tenants? I believe 567 is the amendment to AB 1482. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yes. I don't know why we'd serve them with an addendum of the Assembly bill or the Senate bill. No.
Okay. Thank you.
Your exemption still acts as an exemption. If they change the rules over here, your exemption's still in place. Make sense?
Okay. But on a new lease, do you give them both? Would you give them both?
What do you mean both?
The 1482 and the 567? No?
Senate Bill 567 changed AB 1482.
Right.
So 567 just became 1482. So it's all part of the 1482 disclosure. Does that make sense?
So is the new 1482 disclosure updated to include the changes from 567? So there's a new one? Is that what you're saying?
Well, what I'm saying is the Assembly bill itself was changed by Senate Bill 567. So AB 1482 is still AB 1482, but Senate Bill 567 changed the language in AB 1482. You're still just serving for AB 1482.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. I know it gets a little tricky sometimes. I gotcha. Sometimes we just want to rip out our hair. And somebody said something funny to me today, and I'll try to remember what it was and rewind it because it was a tenant. And they said, well, I tried to Google it, but there wasn't anything on the internet. And I just found that so funny. Anybody else? I hear somebody trying to get in and ask a question. No? Okay. No question for you today then.
Patty,
right.
if nobody has a question, I just have something in general. What is
Let's
your
go.
experience with trees on parkways that look like they may be leaning now? I've contacted an arborist, but I don't know legally if I'm able to do anything with it. I guess they can get a permit from the city if they need to do something, or I'm not sure in LA City.
Are the trees on your property or neighboring property?
On my property, but the parkway that's owned by the city. The tree is the city tree.
I got you. Is it creating a problem?
I'm concerned that it might fall on the house.
Notify the city that you're concerned that the way that it's growing, it appears that it might have been pulled off of its supports as it was rooting in. What is Patty talking about? Hold on, maybe I can give you an example. Hang on. My straw, my pen, okay?
Yeah.
Tree, post holding tree. I'm trying. Hold on. Tree. This is a tree, and this is a post holding the tree. So it's just a piece of wood, like tied to the tree to hold the tree up. If that piece of wood got moved over, guess what? It isn't holding that tree up anymore, and that tree just grew in like it was drunk. Right? Okay. So that might be the problem. I notify the city and tell them of your concerns, that you're concerned that it may fall on the house.
Who did you just call?
Code enforcement? Call code enforcement, building and safety.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. You guys are giving me easies today. I like it. I like it. And yeah, I'm too hot. The socks are coming off now. No joke. Glad you guys can't see all this. Ooh, it's warm and Patty's getting overheated. It happens. And I have on a long sleeve t-shirt. Go figure. Lucky me. So guess what I'm doing this week? Finishing up my painting, and then I'm putting in hardwood flooring. So if anybody's free this weekend and wants to lay some floor, come on up. I'd love to have you. I'm just playing. The things we do as a property manager, right? All right. Does anybody have anything else? We don't have a lot today. Not a lot of questions or concerns. I like it. I like it. I am going to throw something out there for my property management folks. If you guys are pulling on a new property, we never know what the owner did to change the rules verbally. People always tell me, Patty, you can't verbally change the rules. Yeah, you can. And if you don't have a waiver clause in your rental contract, when you verbally change the rules once, you change them throughout the term of the tenancy. So if we're a property management company and we're signing on a new property, the best way to protect us from whatever oral agreements the owner made with the tenant that we have no idea what they are, but we always find out as soon as we serve them the first 3-day notice to pay rent or quit, right? They always call us and say, my owner made a deal with me that my rent's not due till the 18th of the month. Oh, good to know. There's always something, right? Of, the owner this, the owner that. People always ask me, Patty, how do I stop that from happening? Serve the takeover letter. Let them know that you're the new property manager. And at the same time, if they're on a month-to-month tenancy, I would always serve a 30-day notice to change the terms of tenancy to revert back to the original written terms of the rental contract dated blank. Wait, what does that mean, Patty? That means in 30 days, the rules get changed back to the written terms of the rental agreement, and all those verbal agreements that the landlord made with the tenant that I know nothing about are void. And that will happen in 30 days. I hope that makes sense to all my professional property managers out there. It's a great business practice to serve a 30-day notice of change of terms of tenancy when you're bringing on a new property. Okay. Look, my legs look like they're going to fall off. That's so weird. Sorry. Blonde. All right. Anybody have anything else? Anything in particular we want to talk about? For
Patty, I
those
just
of
have
us,
a quick question.
go ahead.
I have a friend who has a single family house in LA. They had some moisture and
From the atmospheric river.
yeah.
Okay.
So they had it tested and it was positive
Okay.
for the M word. And so
Microbial growth.
yes, uh-huh.
Good answer.
And so they moved out and got an Airbnb for $400 a night, more than the rent. And the landlord paid it and didn't charge them rent for that month. And now they want this coming month's rent free because of the inconvenience. They're not entitled to that, right?
They were given a rent credit and reasonable accommodations.
Correct.
There is no inconvenience. Thank you.
That's what I thought. Okay, yeah, I just wanted to make sure I was giving her
You were
correct
given
information.
reasonable accommodations and not have to pay your rent for that month. It's more than sufficient.
Okay, thank you.
I'm trying to give you verbiage too.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Okay, so you guys, usually when you ask me a question, I always try to give you the verbiage back that I would be using with the tenant or with whomever is asking you these things. And Patty is human. Patty is a landlord. Patty is human. So I think the same way you guys do. And sometimes you don't want to take the first answer I throw at you. And Hilda will verify that. She will speak to you. So will Arlene, I bet. Because sometimes you guys will call me and say, the tenant just did this. And I'm like, well, let's go take off their head. I don't really mean let's take off their head, you guys. Come on. But it's just a reference I use. So please don't think that I'm really going to go take somebody's head off. Okay. I also use a reference, and it's a reference to put in your head. Well, it's quicker if we shoot them, but it's not legal. I'm not telling you to go shoot somebody. It's illegal, you guys. Come on. What I'm trying to do is remind you that the legal process is the way to get there. And there is no quicker, faster, shorter way except the illegal process. Make sense? So sometimes what I'm trying to tell you guys is you're in the legal process. Anything else you may try to do is most likely going to be considered illegal. Hence why I say you could shoot them, it's faster. That's illegal. This is the legal process. We need to follow the legal process so we don't end up in an orange jumpsuit. Okay? Remember, courtesy notices are considered threats. Stop using them. Anybody else? For those, I heard somebody got something to say. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, one of the other things I'm going to tell you guys is something that we've been seeing that happened during COVID. It's a new trend, okay? And we've talked a lot about it. It's tenants that file nothing. They stay in the house, they hide there, and then they wait for the sheriff lockout, and then they file that they were never served. And they ask to have the writ recalled, the judgment recalled, or I'm sorry, the writ quashed, the judgment recalled, and set aside the writ of possession so that they can file an answer and give them 5 days. When this first started happening, or when we first started noticing the trend, probably about a year ago, all the judges were giving it away. Yep, they get it. Yep, 5 days to file an answer. Yep, motion set aside. They were never served. Now we're not seeing that. Now we're seeing the judges it's a 50-50 shot whether they'll say they weren't served or not, or that they had no knowledge of the case. Okay, so that new trend that I was warning you about, we're seeing now that being a 50-50 shot whether the judge gives them the opportunity for 5 days to file an answer. Another thing that we're seeing as a trend, and you guys need to be aware of it, mostly in the Inland Empire area, Riverside County, San Bernardino County. We are seeing some of it in LA, but not as much as we are in the other counties, where the lockout notice gets posted on the door and the tenant then goes and files a hardship with the court, stating that they can't find anything or they can't get a place to move out to. That is buying them an additional 45 days, give or take, for the sheriff lockout, just so that you're aware. But we are seeing that as a trend happening in the Inland Empire area. So they will file a hardship with the court once the sheriff notice gets posted on the door, go back to the judge and tell the judge that they're having hardship, trying to find a place, can't move, and they'll usually extend it 45 days. That does not work on commercial properties, only on residential dwellings so far. That could change, but so far that's only working on residential dwellings, and we don't see that being issued in commercial. Just so you know. All right. And for those of us that are dealing with commercial evictions, I'm sorry. I apologize to you in advance. You're going to have to remind the court, remind your attorney, remind opposing counsel, because everybody's so caught up in residential evictions that we have to keep reminding the court, the judge, the jury, the attorney, this is not residential, this is commercial. So I had something a few months ago where I had to repeat that more than 4 times within an hour. And don't get mad when you have to repeat, I'm sorry, Your Honor, this is commercial property and I don't believe that applies. It's okay for you to say that. It's your polite way of reminding the court that this isn't residential, it's commercial. Why is Patty saying this? Because we're not seeing a whole lot of commercial evictions. We're seeing much more residential evictions and a few commercial. We're starting to see a little bit more commercial pop into the picture. So it'll be interesting to see how everything plays out, but just stay calm. Sometimes you guys have to remind us even, but this isn't a residential dwelling, it's a commercial property. It's just stuck in our heads with all of these COVID laws and all of these restrictions for residential that have happened over the past 3 years. Our heads are just stuck in that frame. So is the court, so is opposing counsel. So it's a very nice courtesy for you to just go, excuse me, Your Honor, but I believe this is commercial property and that doesn't apply. Am I mistaken? It's okay for you to say something along those lines. Just try not to be mad about it and don't be snotty about it, okay? We're human, we forget. You may even be reminding me, but Patty, this is commercial. Okay, I am human. We forget, our heads are stuck around residential because it's changing so much. So don't beat your legal counsel up too bad, okay? Their heads are stuck around residential. It's hard for them to defer to commercial. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought there was a note in the chat. Does anybody else have anything that they want to speak about? Because I'm going to go over something else, okay? For those of you that are owed COVID rent monies, meaning the tenant never paid back during the COVID pandemic period, it's due now, okay? February 1st was the due date. They're advertising to tenants that they could be evicted. No, they can't. We can only go back 12 months on a 3-day notice to pay rent or quit. I can't go back any further than 12 months. It's part of California's civil process, civil procedure. It's actually 1162, I believe, of California civil process. We can only go back 12 months on a 3-day notice. You can never evict them for the rent they didn't pay during the protected period of COVID. You can only sue them in small claims court. You can evict them for current months of rent that are owed, but not for something that was owed during the COVID pandemic. I know a lot of what's being said out there sounds like they could be evicted. They may be trying to intimidate them to pay. Don't be upset about that. So they're trying to intimidate the tenant by telling them they could be evicted if they don't pay this. Let them get scared, okay? You didn't tell them that, right? I hope that makes sense to you. They built that by design. Make no mistake. By design. Okay. Oh, deep breath. All right. Anybody have anything in particular that they want to talk about? Something specific they want more clarity on? Otherwise, I'm going to end this for today.
2 seconds, Patty. It's Erica from Roadrunner.
Girl, I'll give you 3.
Okay, that'd be awesome. I have a multifamily unit, San Bernardino County, covered by the TPA. The property owner pays all utilities. Could we serve could we serve a notice of change in terms and tenancy to not pay electricity? Or would it be like a bait and switch type of thing? I need to know what to tell them.
Were they originally put in there on a 1 year or a month to month?
1 year?
Is the 1 year over?
Not yet.
Once the 1 year is over, then you can do a 30-day notice of change of terms of tenancy, changing the rules.
Okay.
But not until that term is over.
Okay, perfect.
And Erica, we're going to talk back and forth, okay?
Yeah.
This is why a lease term is bad for the landlord, because they can't change the rules until it expires.
Mm-hmm.
This is why a lease term helps who? The tenant, not the landlord. This is why we're trying to tell everybody a month to month or a 3-month term at Hello is a much better business practice.
Okay, perfect.
So if you can't get your owner to get away from that 1 year contract, you got to get them away from those 1 year contracts, man. They're hanging themselves. Look at it this way. AB 1482 says that you owe relocation fees once the tenant's been in possession for how long? Anybody? Erica, do you know the answer to this?
I think it's 11 months, 12 months.
It's 12 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you put them on a 1 year contract and then you don't want to rent to them anymore, you just signed up to pay them relocation fees. Right?
Bummer.
Right. Oh, but if I put them in there on a 3-month contract and I don't like them after 3 months, I can give them a 30-day notice to get out, can't I?
Yes, ma'am.
Do I have to give them a reason?
Nope.
Do I have to pay them relocation fees?
Nope.
If they've lived there 13 months, do I have to give a reason?
Yes.
Do I have to have cause?
Yes.
Do I have to pay relocation fees?
Unfortunately.
Some municipalities, cities, sorry, you guys, every once in a while I throw a legal term in there. You got to yell at me, Patty, what are you talking about? Some cities, under their bureaucracy and BS, require 1 year leases. Larceau is one of them. I believe City of Santa Monica is another one, and there's a few more of them that require a 1 year contract.
West Hollywood.
So, West Hollywood. Hey, thank you. I knew Arlene would pop in somewhere and say, there's more, Patty. There's more. What I'm trying to say is if your city requires you to have one, they already know. It's a loophole the rest of us have. If your city doesn't require it, why are you putting them on a 1 year contract? 20 years ago, and it was longer than that. I'm just using that as an example. How do I know? Because I was in this industry for 20 years and this wasn't a problem then either, okay? There was a trend in the real estate market where tenants were moving into a property while they were waiting for their property they were purchasing to close escrow. They were only living there for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and then moving out. Us as landlords were then having to flip vacants again, and that gets expensive, especially if we're painting, carpeting, it's expensive, right? So to combat that, we implemented a 1 year contract at Hello. That hasn't been a problem for the past 20 years. Why are we still doing it? Light bulb, ding. Okay. People that move into our property don't want to live there for 1 or 2 months and move out. They want to stay there for time. Okay. The trend in the industry isn't a problem of people just moving in and moving right back out again. We don't have a need for a 1-year contract. There's no need. Okay. Okay. Everybody's got it. Month to month. Better control for the landlord. And Erica gave us a great example as to why. Landlord's paying the utility bills. Ouch, that's expensive. Can we change the rules? Not until the lease term's over. Damn it. Okay. And I'd make them do more than electricity when the term's over. Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Usually when you include utilities, the rent's atrocious, right? Rent would be $1,500 on this apartment, but it's going to be $3,000 because we include utilities. Wow. Why is it so much? Because we include utilities.
What about adding livable? Because then they at least would get income off of it.
They can't until the term's over.
Right. No, when the term is over.
They
When
could
the
do
term
that
is over.
too. Mm-hmm. They could do all kinds of things, but they can't until the term is over. Who does that benefit? Not us. All right. Anybody have anything else? Otherwise, I'm going to call it a day.
Patty, I have a quick question.
Sure.
As they're trying to save these people in that place that they are living for years and years, so it's gonna cause the quality of the life gonna go down for a lot of people that are living in these RSO units. So why they are bringing down the quality of the life for the majority of people? What's this fight about? Why they are putting our foods in some, tight us to stop us to develop, to make everything comfortable and much better? And, why they are avoiding to do this stuff from this management companies? I can understand why they are forcing us to do life better for everybody.
Do you want me to explain to you very simply the why behind all of this?
Yeah, all these complications that is happening for us, that's why they want to stay there for years and years. Why?
Because all of the laws that are being written right now protect who? Not landlords, tenants, right?
Right.
All the laws that protect the tenants, nothing protects the landlord. Why? Is it because of bureaucracy? Yes. Welcome to the United States of America, where everything is about bureaucracy and BS. And the reality of the problem in California is very simple. See, in 2018, the state of California was 78% tenant occupied. And then COVID hit. And then the locals left the state in droves. And we opened our borders. So we used to be 79% tenant occupied in the state of California. Any guess on what it is today? What I'm trying to tell you is 80% of the vote is tenants. We're the minority. That's the why behind it. We're outnumbered. If you want to run for governor, who do you make the rules for? The people that are going to vote for you, right? That would be tenants, not landlords.
Yeah, they are losing their, their life, quality of life by doing this. I'm talking about majority of people that you're following this politics. I understood, but what's happening for us? We are losing our quality of life. Everybody.
The government is trying to run us out of business. It's more than apparent.
Yeah, and
they want control over the rental market.
They are easily harassing me. Somebody just throw out to me the fan of the kitchen because I didn't change by myself. Just simply that they can do everything, but we can just walk.
I think Hilda wrote a really good response in the chat, and I'm trying not to laugh too hard, and I'm surprised Val isn't piping in. World Economic Forum. You will own nothing and you will be happy.
Thanks for your time.
No problem. In other words, what we're all saying to you is we all agree with you. We're all in the same shoes you're in the same boat, paddling to the same freaking storm, okay? We're all with you. You're not alone. And yes, it does suck. But we're in here to fight the fight, right? All right. If anybody needs anything else, you guys know how to find me. Happy National Singles Awareness Day to those of us that don't have someone else in our life. And for those of us to do, happy Valentine's Day to you.
Good luck tomorrow. Good luck tomorrow.
I know, right?
You
All
always
right.
have us, Patty.
You guys have a great day and hunt me down if you need me, okay?
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.